All right, it's your boy, comedian Edwin Douglas, and you're on Your Mic and Soul Radio Talk Show. That's right, we have a great episode today, tonight, tomorrow, and always on demand. And before we bring in our special guest on the show, allow me to introduce you to my special guest co-host, and his name is the Boudin Man. How you doing, my brother?
Doing wonderful and glad to be on your show tonight.
And also, let me bring you in my DJ sidekick, Uncle Ben. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we bring our guest in, let me pull out the red carpet. She is from Little Rock, Arkansas. She is a singer and a songwriter. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the wonderful Pamela Hopkins. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm great. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. Doing great. I did my homework on you, and what you got out there, I like.
Scared.
What you are presenting. I like a little country music. I like all music, but I was just looking at your photos and listening to the music. I said, she's singing sexy, and the guys don't be careful. I like looking in women's eyes. I was trying to use my imagination, so I was looking at your photos, and as you were singing,
yes,
I like looking in women's eyes, and I can tell that you know exactly what you are doing. That I can tell.
I try to.
Well,
that's what sells, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's what sells. So let's do this. Tell everyone, how old were you? We don't necessarily say the age, but when did you started picking up the microphone and started doing music as singing and songwriting?
Right. So, my musical, experience goes back to 5th grade, where I started playing the cello. That was my first instrument. Then I picked up piano and started singing choir in high school. And then, everybody knows what karaoke is. So that's kind of where, you kind of get the little bit of stage that you get is like, oh, I kind of like this. So I started doing karaoke like in high school and college, and went to Nashville during my college years and decided that wasn't for me, and kind of gave it up for many, many years, and then went back to it about 8.5 years ago, decided that, you know what, I miss music and I miss playing, I miss entertaining, and picked it back up, relearned the piano after 20 plus years not playing it. And now I'm a dueling piano player and kind of just merged into singing and songwriting and putting out my own stuff. So, for the first probably 5 years as a dueling piano player, I played everybody else's songs, covers anywhere from, Alicia Keys to, Dolly Parton, you name it, any genre, any decade we do. So it's whatever comes up and gets requested. And so I cover a lot of artists. And after a while I was like, what do I sound like? What is my, my sound now 20 years later? And that's how I got back into it. And I started writing with some Nashville writers. And I've got like 5 more songs coming out this year, between this year and probably January of next year, that I co-wrote all of them. And like my next one, you'll love the title of it. You ready? It's called Giving a Damn, Don't Go With My Outfit. And it comes out May 7th. That's my next one.
Wow. Wow.
You'll like the verse on those.
So, who do you look up to when it comes to music?
I have lots of influences, and like I said, kind of all over the place. Because I'm going to kind of date myself here. But, you know, 80s was like a big thing to me. And I, you know, was into hair bands and New Kids on the Block, and then some, you know, R&B, and, you know, Boyz II Men was like one of my favorite groups, you know, back in the 90s. I loved Boyz II Men. Went and saw them in concert, first row, stood in line forever for those tickets, but saw them with Montel and Mary J. Blige. And so some of my influences come from that, because the high school that I went to here in Little Rock, if you guys know who Derek Fisher is, know who Derek Fisher is?
Oh, who is that again? The last?
Do you know who Derek Fisher is?
Yeah, Derek Fisher, yeah. Matter of fact, LA Lakers, yes. Yeah.
So I went to high school with him at Parkview High School in Arkansas. So anyway, so a lot of my influences, I was in actually a gospel choir. So some of my influence comes from gospel singing and country and the Southern rock, classic rock, some of the newer. It's just all over the place. So I don't have like one. It's all over the place.
Okay. Because I can hear it in your voice. And
well, I sound country. If you talk about how I talk, I'm country.
Well, but the thing is by me being a comedian and entertaining the audience, and you have the mic, me personally, when you have the mic where you're singing or making people laugh, I don't know about you, but I use my imagination. I'm in my imagination when I'm entertaining. And so I can hear it in your voice that you're putting a lot into your spirit and soul to enjoy it first, so you can give that energy to your audience. And I can hear it, you know. So I mean, I'm
into music. I'm telling you, when I perform, and like you said, you know, when you're performing, you know, you're doing your thing, and I kind of do the same thing. I'm, you know, tapping into whatever song I'm doing. I'm tapping into the energy behind it, or I'm trying to, and I hope it comes out when I'm singing it. People say it does. You know, they tell me they love watching me perform. So
yeah,
I'll take it.
Go ahead, Buddha, and get a couple of questions.
Okay, Pamela, how old was you when you first started into singing country and western?
Country and western, probably 19. I would say 19. Now, I'm older now, obviously, by a decade or two. But you know, so country is kind of where I naturally fit vocally. I feel. Because I am from the South, and I do have the Southern twang, and it kind of vocally comes out that way. When I went into dueling pianos, if you guys don't know what that is, where the two pianos face each other, and we take song requests, and it's a clap-along, sing-along type atmosphere. And we put on, you know, we do improv comedy during the show as well. So there's a lot of improv going on, and we make verses up to the songs, but you kind of lose, because you're having to cover so many genres, or you lose some of the, like what you would normally hear, like country twang, or if you sang R&B, you would lose some of that soul, because if an R&B artist or singer is playing with me, they can't sing everything that way. So we learn to change our voices through what we're singing. So if I'm singing Alicia Keys, then I'm going to throw more soul into what I'm doing, and I'm going to take the twang out. But if I'm singing more country, I'm going to put twang into it and take the soul out of it. Same thing if I'm singing, you know, some of the heavier metal songs that we have come up. I don't sound like either one of them, so I can change my voice. It's kind of weird to explain, but you'd have to just come see me perform the different genres, and you would understand what I'm talking about. But first 19, and then back into it about 8 years ago. Okay. And I don't want to say how old I am, but somebody could probably look up my date of birth and get it, but I'm pretty old.
So would you like to become a big star one day, a big celebrity, or what?
You know, that's a double-edged sword, really. I enjoy being able to leave my house and not be, you know, mauled. I mean, I wouldn't mind if people know who I am and know what I do, but I don't want to be so big that I can't go to the movies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I've got a song I've got a song called Little Rock Famous that I actually I co-wrote, and I released it back in October, the end of October, and it actually talks about that. It says, the verses actually talk about, I sing my songs like I stole them, from town to town, I just keep on rolling. But it talks about I may never be bigger than what I am now, and I'm okay with that because I enjoy performing. And if all I'm ever known for is to be here and doing what I love to do, and people know me here, and it's called Little Rock Famous. I'm Little Rock Famous. I might not be known anywhere else, and that's okay. I'm fine with that.
And
so,
I can relate.
I wouldn't say make it big.
I can relate to that because my biggest audience when I had the opportunity to open up for Dave and Tammy Mann in Rochester, New York. And we're talking about 3,000 people. And not that I was afraid, but I recognized the transition. And comedy is a little different. Either you're funny or you're not. And so the pressure is, this is an opportunity to see that you're ready to elevate to the next level. And what I did was I always pray before I come out on stage, and I say, God, this is you and I are going to have fun. Whatever happened tonight, please let things continue to be normal and comfortable. Because from Texas to New York, that's a whole nother vibe, whole different market. Okay?
Yes, it is.
Yes. And you know that. I mean, if you travel from Arkansas to California to other states, they expect you to do better than what the promoter is talking about, how they promote you. Okay, we better back it up. And so I'm glad you said that, because people do not understand. And then sometimes, Pamela, we have to take some people out of our circle, because everybody's not going to be happy for you. Even the one that grew up with you, that know you personally. We have to learn how to accept the word no, or if they don't call you anymore, if they don't support you. So have you had any of those experiences or experiments where people were your friends, and then as they see you staying focused on what you're doing, have you had any? I actually
have. I have some high school, because I'm on Facebook, and I have probably 3,000, friends, quote friends, on Facebook, and I know almost every single one of them. I don't just let people into my life that are on my Facebook and see my family. My personal Facebook's what I'm talking about. A lot of high school friends are on there, and unless they're in my industry, like other dueling piano players or other musicians that are around Arkansas, I may not know them personally, but they are somebody I need to connect with. I will let them in, because I might need a guitar player, so I let them in. But the majority of the people I know personally that I let onto my personal page, and, you'll post things on your personal page. And this one particular girl that I went to high school with, I'm not going to say her name, but she's confrontational. She's always been that way. I've known her since junior high. She's a confrontational person. And I can be as well if I need to be, but I just choose sometimes not to be, but sometimes I'm in your face. I'm just that way. You'll have to wonder. I'm that friend that if you don't want to know the real opinion, don't ask, because I'm going to tell you. But, anyway, I put something on Facebook. I don't remember what it was. And has never, if I post something about a show, or I post something about like, hey, I've got, 9,000 people, listen to me on Spotify right now, or whatever, and I'm happy about that. She never likes it. She never comments on it. But put your opinion that's, a little bit controversial, something she doesn't like, she's going to be all over it. And I kind of called her out on it one time. I said, I don't know why you come to my page to argue with me. You can't even say anything nice. Like, you have never even liked one of my, have you even listened to one of my songs? She was like, well, you'll know that your friends are the ones that support you. That's what your fans are for. And I was like, woo! Let me block you real quick. I'm not going to take you off my page, but I'm just not going to follow you for a while because I can't. I'm like, it starts with your friends. Mm-hmm. And when your friends, I think, start to think that you're starting to go somewhere and they don't want to see it, they're trying to tell you they're happy for you, but deep down I think some aren't. And you have to just like go, okay, I'm not asking you to blow smoke at my butt. I'm not even asking you to buy my stuff, but, a like or a forward is free. A vote on something, it's free. It costs you nothing, and you're looking at it. So why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you, be positive for me? And,
yes.
Anyway, her and I got into it about it, long story short. But I'm just like, okay, well, you're not in my circle, so I just got to, push you aside. I'm going to keep going. Whether you're for me or against me, I'm going.
That's it. I've learned Facebook 10 years ago, maybe 11 now. I'm not on Facebook anymore like I used to be, but I've
Probably
learned.
Not missing nothing.
It's like a market, a free market. And I made a commitment to myself. I said after so many years, I'm going to just maintain on Facebook. When I accomplish my goals and the level I want to be, I'm getting off. Because as you see so many people, like you say, okay, do they like it? Do they don't like it? They're not clicking on it? Well, I found out that Facebook, if they see you elevating, they will block, they will control.
They will. Shadow blocking.
People.
They will shadow ban you.
Yes.
Shadow ban you in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Because they want you to pay. They want you to pay to boost it. They're like, oh, you're doing well. Let me get some money from you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've got my fan page. It's got, a little over 2,000, and like I said, my friends are like a little over 3,000. But I post on both, and I don't even worry about it. Like, you don't want to like it. Maybe they're not seeing it, but this girl obviously was seeing it because anything controversial, and I know they'll show you more of what you like if you like her birthdays, they'll show you all the birthdays. They show you what your patterns are. But that just tells me either number one, she's not seeing my other stuff, my good stuff. And she's constantly in some drama, but that's all that they're showing her is everybody's drama.
Yeah.
So I could figure it out. I was like, the only time you hop on my page is to argue with me. Why are you just delete me? Like, we don't have to agree, and I'm okay with that. I'll never, bash you for not agreeing with me. I think we all need to have different opinions, and I don't want to be just like you, and I don't want you to be just like me. That would be boring.
Yes.
We can have conversation, but she's just like, your friends aren't supposed to be blah, 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 blah. I was just like, girl, please, move on. Get off my page.
During the pandemic, that's a lot of artists, actors, and comedians. What were some of the things that you were working on or you created during the pandemic?
So I was working on. I did some live streaming during the pandemic with my music, and because I had to supplement my income because I am a full-time musician, and we were closed for about 6 weeks. So I was working on recording and live streaming and doing things like that. But then I started really concentrating on writing, and right after they started opening things up, I guess in May, that's when I hit the studio again, and I did my first 4 songs for last year. And then I went back into the studio after I was writing some more, and I cut 6 more songs in October. And all of those were songs that I co-wrote. So I was really trying to connect with other writers during that time and spend time writing music and trying to create that way, to just try to get my own voice out, my own story. And that's what I was saying. One of the songs that I wrote at that time was Giving a Damn Don't Go With My Outfit, and that's the next song I'm releasing. So like I said, it's an interesting song. But if you want to know who I am, listen to my music, the stuff I wrote, and it'll give you an insight to exactly what's in my heart at any given time. I write about relationships. I write about funny things. I've got one called Straight Shooter that's coming out later this year that talks about how I don't drink beer and wine. I only drink whiskey, and I'm a straight shooter as well. So it's a double meaning.
Yes,
you ask me. Remember, I told you I'm that person. If you don't want to know what I think, don't ask me, because I'm a shoot straight that way. I'm a straight shooter, but I'm also a straight alcohol shooter. If I'm going to drink alcohol, it's whiskey.
That's why I like your work, because I listen. I listen, And most comedians, we observe more than any other artist or performer because that's part of us. And I truly
where your
listen
material
to,
comes from.
Yes, yes. And so I was like, wow, I can tell that you put your heart and soul into it. I said, wow, that's what I'm talking about. And I personally learned from musicians instead of comedian. And I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why is that?
I'm weird because when a songwriter is writing music, and there's a story, I sit back and try to learn as much as I can about that person. So when I get ready to start writing, I want to put my all into it, and I spend quality time with my spirit as I go in my zone. And then when I'm ready to perform, I want to give that same energy to the audience as I would give it myself. If I'm not sweating, Pamela, that means I'm not working hard.
That's every night I work at the club. When I get done playing, I sing 3 hours, a little over 3 hours. By the end of it, I'm dripping sweat down the back of my neck. So because I play the piano, the drums, the bass. And I mean, I'm all over the place. I stand up on top of the piano and perform, and
wow,
I'm putting everything I have into it. As long as the crowd is enjoying it, I will do more. I'm that. how it is. It's just like comedians when you feed off the crowd. The crowd's laughing, you're funnier. Because your spirit gets lifted and you deliver things, in a funnier manner. Same thing with us. If the crowd is really clapping along and singing along and having a good time, and they're getting our jokes, because like I said, we do a lot of improv in our songs and outside of our songs, that if they're laughing and paying attention, we feed off of it.
Yes.
And it makes us better performers. So.
Yes. Yeah. Boudin, get another question before we go to the bottom of the hour.
So, do you have a family, any children? You're trying to bring them into country western or what?
Okay, so yeah, so I have 3 kids. 4 if you count my bonus baby. My bonus baby is a girl. She's 24 now, and we took her in when she was in 7th grade. Her name's Angel, and she's given me a grandbaby who's almost 2. She's my bonus baby. Like I said, we took her in when she was in 7th grade and helped raise her. And then we have Braden. He's 20, and he's in college right now, and he does not like country music. He is all over the place with his taste. He likes EDM. He likes classic rock. He loves classic rock. Avenged Sevenfold, Breaking Benjamin. So I guess it's kind of hard rock nowadays. I don't know if they consider it classified. That's his type of music. He's in college, so that's what he listens to. And then my daughter, she listens to country, and she listens to whatever pop is out. She was a Justin Bieber fan, and she's all over the place. And then my youngest, he actually listens to everything as well. He does classic rock. He's actually my musician. He's learning bass. He's learning drums. He has guitar. He bought himself a guitar. So he actually enjoys performing music. And so he is learning a lot of classic rock right now because that gives him the riffs that he needs. But his friends and him rap. Okay. So they record themselves doing these beats and the synth and all that stuff. He's got a friend that does and they record it and we'll put it out. I think I told him, I said it's pretty good. You might as well put it out on Spotify. Why not? Right? Have it mixed, have it mastered, put it out there, because you'll hear your progression over time. Well, this is what I did when I was 16, but he had a little band for a while, and he's my musician. My daughter wants nothing to do with being a musician. My oldest son, he pretends he does, but he doesn't. No, he played the trombone, and he now has my acoustic guitar. Well, one of them, and he's like, "Can I have it?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, it was the one I got when I was 20. Are you going to learn to play it?" And he was like, "Well, Yeah. And I said, "Can you play me a chord?" He can't play a chord. I'm like, "You've had it for 3 years, so you can't even play a chord." Okay. Yeah, but you can keep it. Go ahead. I just bought me a new one. My daughter,
Wow.
she's a drummer, but she quit. She's like, "I don't want to do this. It's not her thing." And then my youngest son, like I said, he's the musician. He's the one that he would go to any concert I would take him to, anything. He has been to see Elton John. He's been to see Kiss. He's been to see country. He went and saw Five Finger Death Punch with me, which is heavy metal. Okay. Yeah, anything. He's been to see Justin Bieber because I had to take my daughter to go see it. He went, So you name the concert, he'll go. He's like, "Are we going? Got tickets? Let's go." He loves music. He's like me. He's all over the place. All over the place, which is good because, a true musician should appreciate all genres, of music, because we all have influences that come, even though somebody say, "Well, my influence came from Dolly Parton and Merle Haggard." Well, that's great, but they were influenced by somebody else, like Elvis was influenced by a lot of the soul singers back in the day in Motown.
Wow.
So, any of them who had influences also that we consider our influences, it's like a lineage, it goes back to just being able to appreciate everybody's art. And I try to do that. And that's probably why I love my job so much as a dueling piano player. Some people get tired of it. They're like, "Don't you get tired of doing covers?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I love the music, so it doesn't bother me. I love performing it. I love making people smile. I love making people feel. So when I do Alicia Keys right in the middle of my set, and I do, Fallin' by Alicia Keys, and we dim the lights and the spotlight goes on me, and I hit that, I keep on falling, that. The whole place goes silent because what they've heard me do all night is, pop and 90s music and 80s music and classic rock and country. And here I put some Alicia Keys and they're like, "Oh my God, girl can blow," and I'm like, yeah, because my influences are everywhere and I have an ear for it. So, but yeah, my personal country, because that's where I just fit.
There you go.
But not my kids.
Now, we're at the bottom of the hour. We're all going to get a chance to laugh. And when we come back, we'll do the second half of the show. But what I'm about to play here, Steve Harvey get a prank call from his own nephew, Tommy. Everybody just sit back and get the laugh on right here.
Put him on the phone there. I told him I didn't want to be scared of Steve. He ain't writing about you. Yeah, he did. He done told on me. He done told on all my boys. He telling on everybody, man.
Hey, dog, his book ain't got nothing to do with you, man.
No, but his book too got something to do with me, because everything that Steve done learned as he was growing up from the hood, telling on everybody. And I'm tired of this. He ought to go somewhere and sit down.
Hey, dog, you got to get your right with your girl.
Look, if he's fooling my girl, he ain't got no business coming in my house, in my car, telling every damn thing.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
Who is this?
Hold on, man. This Steve Harvey. Who is this?
This is Chuck P, man. Listen here, man. Okay, I'm on the phone with your nephew, and I'm just saying this to you, Steve. Okay? All love to you, dude. I see you on the front of Essence. I see you on the Family Feud on your radio show. You got your so why don't you take your and go somewhere and sit down and quit telling on everybody? What I mean is on everything, Steve. I'm riding in the car with my family. Every time they come on, I got to turn my radio off because you telling game. We grew up sticking together. My ain't together like yours. You got your together. If I'm running a little game to make my ends meet or whatever it is, that's my business. You ain't got no business telling on me.
Hold on, wait a minute. First of all, I don't know who you are.
I know you don't, but I know who you are, and we listen to the show. Okay.
Hold on. First thing you're going to do, though, back up a little bit, dog, because you're talking to me crazy.
Hey, see, ain't nobody scared of you because you got money.
Oh, hey, this ain't got nothing to do with no money, and I ain't going to be too many more.
But listen, Steve, you got your money, so why don't you go somewhere and sit down somewhere and just enjoy your life. You found the perfect wife for you. You found the perfect person, the perfect relationship. Okay, that's good. God bless you.
Hold up. Don't put God in this. Leave God out of this, because you ain't calling from the God angle. See, people kill me with that part right there. God bless you. Don't throw God. You don't want God bless me because you're talking too crazy to me. That's for starters right there. But since you're talking crazy to me, let me turn you on to something. You out there running game, that's your problem. Run your game. You can't get mad at me because I'm doing what I do. See, man, like y'all kill me. You out there doing what you want to do, like you all of this right here, then you coming to me because I'm trying to empower somebody. I don't give a damn about you, man. Feel how you want to feel about me, but what you ain't going to do, though, is talk to me like you crazy, because I ain't that.
Wait a minute, Steve. Let's make the playing field fair, okay? You got the airwaves, you got the microphone, you got the ability to touch a lot of people, okay? And you just tell it. You're a walkie-talkie.
Hold on. This ain't got nothing to do with the airwaves. This ain't got nothing to do with the media. This just me and you talking. I can talk to you personally. Personally, me and you can talk. Anytime you want to. You call. You talking all this yet. See, there's people like you, man, dog. You know why I wrote a book in the first place? Because you're always somewhere with your side bust that, trying to act like you're something that you ain't. Now you got the source on the phone. Now you trying to make it about money and me. This is me and you, just two men talking. Now what you want?
Then if there's two men there talking there from one man to another, why don't you just go somewhere and sit down and quit telling?
First of all, I ain't got to sit down. You already sitting on your doing nothing as it is. See, as soon as somebody go out and do something, try to do something positive, you got some old shake and bake, shilly-wag, shitless like you sitting up in here, man, wanting to go sit down somewhere. I ain't going sitting down no damn where. You can miss me with that. I say what I want to say. And who are you anyway? You ain't even doing nothing.
And don't tell me I ain't doing nothing. I tell you what I am doing. I'm trying to do something. Every time I take a step, you take two steps. Oh,
Hey, man, what are you trying? Y'all kill me. Why don't you quit trying and do something? See, y'all kill me, man, with that old you trying, always trying to do something. Why don't you do something, dog? Why don't you take your monkey somewhere and do something? You should have been here talking to me about what you trying. You probably selling that same thing to your people. You trying. When are you tired of me and trying stuff? When you going to do something?
I'm doing something right now, Steve.
Right now you're talking to me on the phone. You could be improving your relationship with your girl or whoever you're trying to get it together with, but you're on the phone with me complaining because I done wrote a book. Man, don't read the damn book. You probably ain't read it no way. And don't watch the TV show because your name probably ain't working enough to pay the bill no how.
Hey, look, wait a minute, Cole. You don't know nothing about me. Okay, you don't know nothing about my finances. You don't know how
I ain't about your finances. This is about you as a man. Man, you know what y'all kill me? Here's what y'all do to me. Here's what y'all do to me. Y'all always talking to me on an email somewhere. You always on a blog talking about me. You don't even know me. Then when you get me face to face, you want to bring up money. This conversation ain't got nothing to do about money. I ain't brought up money one time. It's about manhood. Now, why don't you do that right there?
Wait a minute. No, Steve, it ain't about money now because you got it. Okay, because you got it. When you was broke, I bet that when you had it,
guess what, though? Hey, man, guess what, though? When I was broke, though, I was working. I wasn't sitting on the phone crying to some other men about what he making me feel with my wife. Yeah, every time I take a step forward, you got me taking 2 steps back. Man, you. Your punk take a step back because you get knocked back because you ain't. That's why you ain't taking a step. What? Give me this, man. Oh, man, kill.
Can I tell you something? You just got pranked, dog.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Steve Hall got pranked by his nephew Tommy, and you're on your mic and radio talk show. Yes, your mic and soul radio talk show. Now, Pamela, we just got through talking about the Facebook. You see how easy that we can get caught up?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Too easy.
Wow.
Oh, too easy. There's always going to be some haters hating on us. Yes, so, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the wonderful singer-songwriter Pamela Hopkins, and she's our special guest, right along with my special guest co-host, the Boudin Man, of course, our DJ sidekick, Uncle Ben, and we are at the second half of this show. Okay, what I normally do is I ask all my guests, Pamela, what are some of the trials and tribulations that you may have gone through that made you the singer, the songwriter that you are today?
Well, let's see. Where do you start? Well, I would say, like I said, without hearing some of my songs that are coming up, that just, childhood wasn't easy. My dad was an alcoholic and came from a, abusive father. But some of my attitude probably comes from having to be tough, and deal with that stuff growing up. And which, like I said, in some of my songs, especially, like I said, the next one coming out has a little attitude in it. And then I wrote another song that actually is about my dad that talks about, it's called Raise Some Hell in Me, that I'm going to be recording next year. So I would say part of that, having that go on. And then back in 2003, my daughter was born, and shortly after my daughter was born, my husband got activated to go to Iraq and fight. That was after 9/11, and we were deploying soldiers over there. And while he was gone, I was left with a newborn, a 3-year-old, and then right before he left, I got pregnant. So,
Wow.
But having to have a career at the same time and be pregnant, have a newborn and a 3-year-old who was kind of difficult. Some of my songwriting came out of that. One of the songs that I wrote is called Giving Back to Us. And it is about my experience as a wife and raising my kids without him here while he was gone, and then how when he came back he was different because of PTSD, And so that song is called Giving Back to Us. It's already out. I recorded that one, I guess, probably 2 years ago, and it's on YouTube. It's on Spotify, all iTunes, all that stuff. But those experiences, being a military wife and going through worrying about him and then him being, different when he came back has affected, some of that songwriting and my emotions. I've got another song I didn't write, but I chose from a writer that was pitched to me called Please Don't Laugh, that's already out as well. And that's, if you listen to it, it's basically about that person who is the smiling person that, on the outside, they look like everything's fine, but on the inside, they're falling apart, And I don't know about other people, but I think a lot of women, and possibly men too, but we try so hard to keep it together, being a mom and raising, a family and working full time, and then having all these other things that happen during your life that you're carrying all this baggage, having something that, on the outside shell, you have to look like you got, that you're put together, and on the inside, it's killing you, And so that one is I chose that one specifically because that's how I feel a lot. It's like, please don't laugh if I start crying. And it talks about there's a lot about me that you don't know. And then anyway, you have to listen to the song. But everything I choose or everything that I write about, just about, I would say 95% of it has some truth of it in my life at one point or time or another. So, having some of the traumas that went on probably made my story better and made me a stronger person. So,
wow, amazing.
I don't know if that answered your question or not, but there you go.
Well, no. I'm going to share something with everyone, and this is how good my ears are, not only listening to you, Pamela, but the spirit inside of you. As all of us have spent this moment or spending time listening to this interview, and at the beginning, Pamela has shared with us about her music and where she gets her music from, life experiences and life experiment. See, what people don't realize that the day that you were born, Pamela, God anointed your gift with music, good heart, great feeling. And as you share with us that not only you're a singer and a songwriter, you're a wife and musician, your husband has gone in the military, come back, and he has a what I will call more of a temporary illness, because it won't always be with him forever. But with the beautiful voice, with the beautiful anointing that you have in you, your voice and your music is to bless us with the words that come out of your mouth, with the time that you spent writing. God surrounding you with co-writers, co-producers to make the song beautiful. Because the voice, because the words that's going to come out of your mouth is going to feed our spirit and soul. So this is what I'm hearing from you, from your trial and tribulation throughout this interview. You're born to sing, Pamela Hopkins.
I believe so.
Yes. Anything you want to ask Dan?
Who is your favorite country and western idol?
Ooh, I have several. I don't really have like a favorite. If I were to go old school, I would say, Dolly Parton, hands down. Amazing songwriter. She's the one that wrote "I Will Always Love You" that Whitney Houston sang. So,
right.
And she did a country version of it. So I would say Dolly Parton's probably one of my favorite long time. She's 75 years old now and still well known, and I think one of the richest people in America, one of the wealthiest people in America, and everybody knows her. So Dolly Parton
right.
probably, and she's very wise. So I would say if we're going old school, probably Dolly Parton. If you're moving into up until about 2000, so 90s, Reba McEntire. She was real big in the 80s and 90s. Martina McBride for a power vocalist, like listening to her sing and the power vocals that come through her voice, it always inspired me. She can hit notes, and it's so beautiful that just listening to her, just gives me chills, So I would say those three mostly if we're talking about females. Garth Brooks was always a great entertainer, so watching him entertain, I would say he was also a big influence on just like what kind of entertainment I would like to put forward, because him and Reba were real big entertainers as far as like on stage. So
okay,
that would be who I would choose.
Okay.
When things open up, and as you are a singer and a songwriter, what artist or that you have in mind that you would love to sit down in the studio and do a special project with them, either him or her?
I probably have two. So Ashley McBride, which she's I would say up and coming. She's getting really well known right now. She's actually from Arkansas as well. She was up for a Grammy this year, I think, for Entertainer of the Year, New Entertainer of the Year, and she won a Grammy, I want to say, last year for her songwriting. Mm-hmm. So I would say her, she's number one, and on the male front, probably Luke Combs.
Okay.
Because I really enjoy his music. It's fun, and some of it's very touching. He's got a song called "Better Together" it's great. I just love it. So I would say either one of those. Like I love them both.
Okay. If someone who's trying to get in the business or want to learn the business, what advice would you give any music artist, whether it's a songwriter or an entertainer? Just tell them what advice you would give them if they want to become a songwriter or a music artist.
I would say work daily. You can't let a day go by that you're not doing something to propel yourself forward, whatever that may be. So if that means I'm wanting to be a writer, then I'm writing every day. If I want to be a writer, I'm writing every day, and then I'm seeking out other songwriters. I'm putting my stuff out there. I'm publishing it. If I want to be a singer, learn an instrument. If you don't already know an instrument, learn an instrument, because if you can't accompany yourself, then you're kind of like just a karaoke artist. So you want to be able to pick up a guitar, a piano, some way to accompany yourself to where if you have an opportunity to do a solo gig, you have the means to do that. So, because sometimes it's hard to rely on another person, to do stuff for you, because you work for yourself. Just like, as a comedian, when you're trying to book yourself, and until you have the money to hire somebody to do that for you, it's you. You're it.
That's it.
And if you're taking a day off, then you're the only person you're doing a disservice to is yourself, and you're not going to go forward. So even during the pandemic, I was working. I'm working on, my website. I'm working on what ads I can put out. I'm working on photography, what, my pictures are going to look like, what my font's going to look like, what my songs are going to be. So I'm constantly working all day on something to do with my music.
Wow.
That's it. And people don't understand how it's important that you have to be consistent on a daily basis. Boudin worked with me. He's trying to figure out when did I go to sleep? I said, I don't. I'll take a nap and I wake up.
Exactly. I take a disco nap. I take a disco nap in the afternoon, or as my friend calls it, it's time for your old person nap. So he calls me an old person. He's like, time for your old person nap. I'm like, it is 4:00. It is time for my old person nap.
Yeah.
And that's because I get 4 or 5 hours at night, and so then I'm back up. Mm-hmm. I'm up in the morning and I'm working my day job because I have a day job too. So my husband and I own a business, and so I have to do things with that as well. And so I'm working in schools we own Balfour here in Arkansas, like 2/3 of the state are ours. So we go into schools and we do cap and gowns. And, right now it's cap and gown season. I mean, the graduations are about to happen. So I'm busy. So if I'm not doing that, I'm working on my music. And if I'm not working on my music, I'm on social media and I'm trying to connect with somebody who's doing something with music. It's getting the connections. It's getting the, the right people to surround yourself with and to figure out who is not there for you. I don't ask anything from anybody that I'm not willing to pay them for, because and a lot of stuff you have to do for free. You're asking for volunteers because you may not have the money to do it. But weeding out people that aren't there for you, that want to pretend like they're there for you, and secretly behind your back they're halting what you're doing. And sometimes those people are hard to see. Sometimes they're hard to see because they'll be all about you, but then you just got to look. You got to look, and you got to be aware that, okay, are they, or are they secretly jealous that I'm going somewhere and they're not? And then they don't want to be there when you're entertaining a crowd of 10. They want to wait till you've built a crowd of 10,000, and then they want to ask for free tickets. No.
That's it.
Be with me all along, and I will treat you well when I get there. And if I don't get there, you're treated well all along, too. I'm not going to step on you. Yes. But know that we need that fan base. We need that support, because we are trying to do something and go forward. And whether they're there or not, I'm going to continue to go forward. So you can join me and enjoy the ride with me, or you can go, man, I don't think she's going to make it, or I don't think she's going to do this, or be negative. Negative Nancy's have no place in my life. Time to go.
And next time God revealed that negativity, what He's doing is telling you to close the door on them and move forward. And because He wants us to step out on faith, and your music, Pamela, is gonna go a long way. Don't be afraid. Go from Arkansas to Florida to Mississippi to Minnesota. Just jump and take those chances, because you're very gifted and talented. And as long as you have a website and there's evidence that you have videos, and yourself, whoever does the booking, make it happen. Like you said, you enjoy doing music, but don't do it for free. Just be serious. And the monetization is so important. I'll tell you how I do it. I tell them, get me there, put me up, and then allow me to perform. Negotiation 1, straight up. Negotiation 2, allow me to sell my product. And if it's a good deal, we're good. If not, then this ain't for you. Let me go to the next. Let me go next door. So you have to.
And that's how you have to be, and you got to keep moving forward, because, like I said, if there's a day that you're not working, you're stopping your momentum. So when you get that momentum, just keep going, because when you look back at 30 days of growth, so you're going to do something every day. When you look back 30 days from where you are, you'll see you have stepped forward. But if you keep letting time go by, because it will. And it's going to go by quickly. And the older you get, the faster it goes.
It sure does.
It seems like it, yeah. I mean, I blink and I'm like, oh, it's April.
No, you couldn't say it any better, because every day is so important to me. I'm like, I have a day job, I have the radio podcast. Myself as a comedian, I'm an author. I have paperback book and the ebook. I'm going to do the digital magazine. It's all about trying to find ways to promote. And my new business is technically media, entertainment, and film. So when this pandemic thing opened up, not only just myself, everyone that I interview on my podcast, my third year, I'm going to come right back and follow everyone and see where you are. And it's so easy for me to get a hold of Michael. You know, I have all the talent that he support and promote. So that's a whole nother market by itself. So when this pandemic open up, I'm going to come right back and find out where you are, where you're performing, and it's a whole nother level of media. You know, so
and see, here in Arkansas, we're open.
Yep.
So we're open here. Yep. I'm just waiting for everything else to open up, you know, so that I can do more of what I'm used to doing, because I do some stuff with the troops overseas. And right now they're not allowing us to go on the bases because it's, you know, because of the pandemic. So I'm waiting on that. Yeah. But, I mean, I'm always, like I said, probably the best thing that I could have done for my career was hire Mike. Honestly. Because I'm going to tell you why. Because, you know, a year ago, if you would have looked at my Spotify, I might have had 75 followers in a month, like 75 listeners. You know, Spotify does like a 28-day rolling listener. So I can look at my analytics and I can look at it and I'm like, oh, I'm up to 75 people who listen to my music. And this was like a year ago. And I started putting out new music in July or the end of June. And it still kind of be the same. And then I hired Mike, and now I'm at 9,300 people listening a month. So I went from 75 to 93, and it's just because I'm doing things like this. I'm on podcasts. I'm on interviews. He's, you know, doing stories on me. I'm putting out music consistently, and I'm making sure that I'm doing my part. So once you get, you know, the advice I would give is once you get that momentum and you have a product to put out, if you have money in your budget, hire somebody that is trustworthy that will help propel you forward. And, you know, I can't say enough good things about Mike. I mean, you know him, so.
I'm also, I do a lot of marketing consulting. I'm going to tell you this now. With you, Michael, find a way in your business. The new game is to sponsor yourself. Get that in ink. Do the right thing. For an example, ABC Incorporated sponsor Pamela Hopkins. Okay, and so when people see that, okay, who is ABC Incorporation, then other sponsors will want to tag on, and that's how you do it.
So right now I'm sponsored by Gone Country Hats, which is a cowboy hat company.
I thought it.
Yeah, so well, I'm excited about it. I'm like, well, there you go. You know, I'll take it. You know, and I'll wear your cowboy hat. They're pretty cowboy hats. I don't wear cowboy hats normally, but I'll put one on.
I know what I think I saw a photo. I saw a photo of you with a cowboy hat. And I thought, look at her. I thought, okay, she knows exactly what she's doing. Yeah, I like that. I sure do.
Yeah, I did a video for them, and I'll probably do another one. And they have all kinds of artists that, you know, so that again, that's an opportunity that I was able to connect with, and now I can connect with other artists that are also sponsored. So then that helps, you know, my live performing, because maybe I can jump on a tour with them.
There you go.
Collaborate.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Before we let you go,
collaboration and stepping
that's
forward.
it. Yep, that's it. You're smart. You're very smart. Before we let you go, tell everyone if they want to book you, contact you. The mic is yours. Tell everyone what you got coming up.
Well, so everybody can just go to my website, which is PamelaHopkinsMusic.com, and all of my social media is there, my YouTube accounts. I've got 2 YouTube accounts. One is my artist's page, which is more like my kind of solo. You'll see like me sit there singing, you know, with a guitar. If you go to my other page, which is my Pamela Hopkins Vivo page, it's my official music videos. And please like, comment, and subscribe and all that good stuff. But all of that can be found on my website. So, because I hate to give, here's this handle, here's that handle. If you just go to my website, PamelaHopkinsMusic.com, you will find on the homepage all of my social media links, and it tells you how to get in contact with me, how to book me. It has my show schedule on there, everything. Like everything's on the website you could want to know about me.
All right. Before we go, I'll give you my word, I will play with one of your songs before we go. Boudin, anything you want to say before we go?
Well, you plan on retiring being a singer?
In about 45 years.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
That'll work.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll probably die before then, but yeah, I plan to die doing this. This is my third career, and like I said, I started out singing and left it because of an experience I had in Nashville, and came back to it, and I'm not giving it up this time. It feeds my soul. It feeds my soul, and I need it.
That's it. Oh, I love it when it says feed our soul. Yes, right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the boy, comedian-Edwin-Douglas, right along with our special guest, the one and only singer-songwriter, Pamela Hopkins, of course, with my special guest co-host, the Boudin Man, and of course, my DJ sidekick, Uncle Ben. Until next time, we're leaving with the song of Pamela Hopkins, Friends Like You. Don't you guys go away. Take care.
With a box of chocolates and a bottle of wine, I trust you with anything. That's the way you know my mind. You pick me up when it let me down, and I thank God that you're around. Remember when I thought he was cheating, you called me insane. Well, girl, he is cheating, and I know who's to blame. It ain't that pretty little thing next door. It's always needing something big. On the waitress at the diner, he always overfilled. It ain't his ex who called last night. No, you helped me see the light with that picture of you on his phone. Wearing nothing but your tattoo. These enemies with friends like you. Those champagne satin sheets in bed, you're laying under mine. Pictures worth 1,000, photograph ain't lying. There are phone that shut your mouth, got several tongues, and the truth is out. It ain't that little finger in the study cover band, or the cutie at the Kroger who's looking for a man. It ain't his ex that called last night. No, you helped me see the light with that picture of you on his phone. Wearing nothing but your tattoo. These enemies with friends like you. Mystery song, I'm glad it's over. They say keep your friends close. I should have kept you closer. Ain't that little thing next door? It's always needing something big. On the waitress at the diner, he always overfilled. Ain't his ex to call last night. No, you helped me see the light with that picture of you on his phone. Wearing nothing but your tattoo. These enemies with friends like you.
Yo, Mike and Soul Radio Talk Show. Until next time, peace and may God bless you.